The twin suns of Argon-V cast a hazy golden light across the dust-blown landing field. Sergeant Cale Drayan adjusted the strap of his blaster rifle and scanned the barren outpost. He didn't like it. Too quiet. No movement. No signal interference. Just silence and the whisper of wind across forgotten ruins. Why would rebels waste time here? Private Ellen Virel muttered beside him, wiping sweat from her brow. Desperation makes ghosts out of places like this, Cale said, lowering his visor. Let's make it quick. Scout, retrieve, extract. Their squad split off through the cracked walls of the ancient structure. Cale led Ellen down a narrow corridor lined with rusted carvings and alien scripts. The deeper they went, the more unease settled over him. Then they saw her. A lone woman, dressed in a simple cloak, stood in the center of the ancient chamber, surrounded by flickering holographic glyphs. Her face was hidden beneath her hood. She looked up, startled. Identify yourself. Cale barked, raising his rifle. Before she could answer, the air shimmered. A pulse wave hit the chamber, knocking Ellen off her feet. Red blaster bolts rained in from behind, an ambush. Cale dove in front of the woman instinctively. The blast hit him square in the chest. 2. Waking in a palace. Cale awoke coughing, his chest burning with a deep ache. The metallic tang of blood clung to his lips. But he wasn't in the outpost anymore. He lay in a silk-covered bed in a vast chamber lit by suspended crystal orbs. An ornate crest glowed above the arched doors, a sun cradled by 2 moons. A woman sat beside him, the same cloaked figure. Now, her hood was down. Her features were regal, too perfect to be unintentional. Silvery hair framed her face, and her golden eyes shimmered with emotion. "You're awake," she whispered. Cale reached for his sidearm. It was gone. "Where? What is this?" "You're safe," she said. "You saved me. You took a blast that would have ended my life." "I was doing my job," Cale groaned. "No. You didn't know who I was." She stood, her robe flowing like water. "I am Queen Ceres of the Tethered Suns. You did not save a common woman. You saved the sovereign ruler of the Trinari worlds." Cale blinked. What?" She nodded solemnly. "The blast was meant for me. The rebel assassins almost succeeded. But you, an off-world soldier, not even of my realm, stood between me and death. Why?" Cale shrugged. "Didn't think. I saw the shot. Moved." She stepped closer. "That act of selflessness has consequences." 3. Politics and proposals. 2 days later, Cale was walking again. His armor had been replaced with formal robes. The Queen's palace was a blend of alien beauty and ancient technology. Floating platforms, whispering walls, gravity-defying gardens. Ambassadors came and went. Advisors stared. Cale felt like a misplaced gear in a machine too big to comprehend. Then came the summons. He was led into a high council chamber. Queen Ceres stood at its center, dressed in a shimmering battle gown lined with starlight. "The council has decided," she said, eyes on him. "A life debt has been invoked." Cale frowned. Life debt. In Trinari tradition, when a sovereign life is saved, the rescuer becomes a bondmate, tied by honor, and if accepted, by union. "You're saying I have to marry you?" Ceres tilted her head. "No. I am saying the law demands you be offered the bond. You can decline. But doing so would cause a diplomatic spiral. My people view your action as divine." Cale rubbed his face. "I didn't mean to start a galactic incident. I just didn't want anyone to die." "I know," she said softly. There was silence. Then Cale chuckled. "You're serious?" "I am," Ceres replied. "But the choice is yours." 4. The threat beyond the stars. Kale stayed. Not for the marriage, not yet, but to help unravel the rebel threat. Queen Ceres allowed him access to their intelligence network, and together they uncovered a grim pattern. The assassination attempt wasn't just a political move. It was a warning. A shadow force called the Null Pact had infiltrated rebel factions across 3 systems. Their aim, to dethrone the Trinari royal line and take control of the stargates that powered inter-system travel. Kale's military experience made him invaluable. He trained the Queen's guards, hardened their defenses, and coordinated counterstrikes with brutal precision. During one mission, as Ceres donned armor and fought alongside her elite squad, Kale saw her not as a ruler, but as a warrior. "I thought queens issued orders from thrones," he said after they disabled a Null transmitter on a ruined moon. Ceres, face smudged with ash, smirked. "I learned long ago that crowns break under pressure unless reinforced with steel." They began to spend more time together. Not out of obligation, but out of respect. One evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the twin suns, Ceres asked quietly, "Why haven't you accepted the bond?" Kale replied, "Because I want to choose you, not just because I saved you." She smiled. "That's why I wait." The final strike. A signal broke through on the edge of the Iridia belt. The Null Pact was preparing a superweapon, a gravitational imploder capable of collapsing suns. Their first target was Argon-V. Ceres and Kale led a joint strike team. The ship, the Dawn Spear, pierced the asteroid field like a needle. They infiltrated the core station where the weapon was being charged. The battle was chaos. Fire in every corridor. Screams across every frequency. Kale and Ceres fought back to back, his plasma blade flashing, her energy gauntlets crackling with fury. Then came the final chamber, where the weapon pulsed, seconds from activation. Ceres ran forward to override the core. A Null assassin rose from behind the console, plasma blade in hand, aimed at her heart. Kale moved without thinking. Again. The blade sank deep into his side. He dropped to one knee, but kept the assassin's arm locked long enough for Ceres to shatter him with a kinetic blast. She caught Kale as he collapsed. "Again," she whispered, cradling him. He grinned weakly. "Just my luck. Wrong place, wrong queen." "You're not losing me," she said fiercely. 6. The bond. Kale survived. Barely. When he awoke again, it was not in a palace, but in the medbay of a warship, draped in banners of victory. The Null Pact had been scattered. The weapon disabled. And the alliance between systems had solidified around one fact. A foreign soldier had saved the Queen of the Tethered Suns. Twice. Ceres visited him daily during his recovery. No longer a monarch in his eyes, but the woman he respected, fought beside, and trusted. When he was strong enough to walk, she stood before him in ceremonial robes. "You saved me again," she said. "Now tell me, do you accept the bond?" Kale looked at her, not at the crown, not the throne, but the fire in her eyes. "I do." And the chamber erupted in starlight. 7. Epilogue. A starbound future. They were bonded under the laws of the Trinari, not just by right but by choice. Kale, once a lone soldier with no roots, became the consort commander, a role forged uniquely for him, combining diplomacy and defense. Queen Ceres and Commander Kale ruled not as figureheads, but as leaders, tempered by war, bound by loyalty, and forged in the fire of survival. And whenever people asked how a Terran soldier rose to royalty, the answer was always the same. He took the laser blast for her, unaware he was saving the Queen.